Previously on Balls.
Moley will no doubt tell us also about the follow-up to Jack Wilshere saying last week that that Januzaj, the young Adnan Januzaj, the young Man United player that's actually qualified to play for 10 different countries. Jack Wilshere saying, well, if he's not English, he shouldn't play for England, which obviously upset Kevin Peterson, the cricketer who was born and brought up in South Africa. Jonathan Trott, another South African. Moritz Spuerta, Brad Barrett, two rugby players. And the Mole's been keeping an eye on that story for us, seeing the fallout from that story.
Hello.
But also, Moley, how you doing, mate?
Mate, you all right?
Yeah, no, not bad at all. Moley, you watched England this week qualify for the World Cup with a 2-0 win over Poland. And all the South African Twitterers shouting at me and saying, well, England are still rubbish. They still rely on the aged Lampard and Gerrard to motivate that central midfield. It's been going on a long time. How do you see England's chances at the World Cup, Moley?
0.
Yeah, there we are. That's exactly what I think, mate. But nice that they're there.
The problem is, though, Neil, it's a bit rich for people having a go at England being rubbish when their country's not even qualified. I mean, do us a favour, are we jumping up and down saying we're going to win it? No. Anyone with a bit of realistic brain knows that.
Yeah.
We've probably qualified. We are where we are. What are we? I reckon top 20 in the world, so we've qualified. That's about right. Ain't going to win it, that's for sure.
Yep, that's exactly what I've been saying, mate. We always get beyond when we do qualify. I mean, you and I have lived through a couple of times when England didn't actually qualify for the World Cup finals. I was lucky enough, unlike you, to live through 1966 and remember it in black and white. I was about 5 at the time. But to be fair, when we do qualify, we do normally get through the group stages. In fact, every time we've qualified, got through the group stages. But England then fall apart in the kind of last 16 quarter-final, semi-final in 1990 was the best recently. That's about England's position, isn't it? To get into the top 8 would be brilliant.
Well, I think that's the overachieving top 8 because they're not good enough.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, my biggest problem with England is, as we've discussed a few times, and it's all your lot's fault, Yeah. It's the media hype.
Journalists,
that sort of, they go around saying how great we are. You've got the realistic people on the ground saying, well, are we? And then, the expectation level gets raised and then the players get put on a pedestal. And I think the players get put on a pedestal and the team gets put on a pedestal because it's easier for the media then to knock them down when they then say they're rubbish.
No, exactly, mate.
I mean, your take on that might be completely different, but I mean, that's how I see it. And, it's just, nobody's realistic. I think there's a huge line or a very fine line between people being negative or seeming to be negative and people being realistic. And if you look at England and you're realistic and hand on heart, there's no way we're ever going to win it. For England to win the World Cup, everybody else would have to knock each other out, the good sides. We would have to be mega, mega lucky.
Yeah. We'd
have to then be really good against the teams that you come up against in the knockout stages. It's not going to happen, is it?
No, it's not. So who are your kind of... I mean, the obvious ones, we've just been talking with tokodds.com. Len was saying to us from World Sports Betting that Brazil are the favourites after winning the Confederations Cup, but no one ever wins the Confederations Cup and the World Cup. So we're kind of looking at a situation where Argentina are right up there. They've got Colombia, greater odds than England. Colombia at 40 to 1, England at 20 to 25 to 1. Who's your outsiders?
Well, I mean, again, can you look at a European side winning in South America? That's the biggie.
Yep.
I mean, you can probably take any one of those South American sides that have got a good chance of winning it.
Yeah.
I mean, Uruguay are have come 5th or 6th in that whole qualifying group.
That's right.
But you can't rule them out. I mean, I can't see that. They're playing Jordan, aren't they?
They've got to play Jordan in their the Asian intercontinental cop-out. I said that all wrong. I think Uruguay, but by the time Uruguay get through, as we saw in South Africa, that Uruguay can be a sticky little side to play against. In 2010, they effectively put South Africa out. And we've got a situation where Uruguay, Argentina, Colombia and Brazil have to be the 4 favourites for me in Latin America.
Yeah. I mean, I think if any of the European sides, it's going to be Germany. Italy always seem to have a decent tournament at the World Cup. I mean, they're going through players as well. I mean, I don't think they're not. It's certainly not the best Italian side that's been around for a long while. Holland. I don't know so much about Holland. I think Holland have gone through that little stage. I don't think they're as good as they were. Belgium's going to be the dark horse, but we're not going to know how they're going to react to the big tournament.
Yeah.
It's all right having all the great players stuck together. Are they going to kick the national side on the big stage? Huge question mark.
Yeah, there are question marks, mate. Having looked at Germany and what they've done in Holland, unbeaten in qualifying. Germany pretty dominant as well, and obviously they got this guy Mesut Ozil. Have you ever heard of him?
No, some little bloke that Brown got rid of. He was useless.
Have we had any update on his injury? He limped off, didn't he, in the second half of their game during the week?
It's a bruised knee apparently. I mean, I think with us having Dortmund next week, I wouldn't be looking to risk him anyway, to be fair.
What we got? Norwich. Arsenal got Norwich this weekend, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to take us through a few of those? I mean, if we forget the World Cup just for a second and we look at the way the English Premier League's working out, are Man United going to recover quickly, Molly?
Don't know, don't care. Hopefully not.
It's such a nice feeling to have Man United kind of 6-7 places below Arsenal for Arsenal fans after they haven't won a trophy since 2005. The constant pain of seeing Sir Alex Ferguson's Man United in the top two for, well, how long is it, 20 years? And now suddenly, under David Moyes, the bedding in process is proving to be as tricky as we expected.
It was funny because I was having a conversation with a Man United supporter last week and he was saying how he wasn't very complimentary on Mr. Ferguson at all. He reckons that he's left them and dropped them in the shit and should have bought players earlier. And the whole thing now has sort of been chucked onto Moyes, and Moyes is going to take all the grief. And he said, if you look at it, he's left quite an ageing side, a lot of very, very good players, all needing to be replaced, sort of altogether. And he said, that's a huge job. You can't do that.
And on top of that, of
one
course,
or two at a time, he's fine, but a whole load of them. And he said, well, yeah, he was having a go. He said, Ferguson's Ferguson's this, Ferguson's that. He said, but he's dropped us in the shit at the end when it matters. Yeah. I was having a little chuckle.
On top of that, Molly, what I tell some of the South Africans, the footballers and the agents that I chat to, Martin Ferguson, Sir Alex's brother, and Jason Ferguson, twin brother of Darren, his son, they were the guys that did all the big transfers for Man United in the last few years. And of course, they're strictly aligned with Sir Alex as family members, blood thicker than water. It's like a family business, like Kaiser Chiefs, Man United in some ways. You got also Eric Nixon, the old goalkeeping coach, saying that Moisey came in and kind of stripped out some of Sir Alex Ferguson's backroom staff. So in some ways, Moisey has set it up for himself. Maybe he should have kept everyone else in place, just for a while to allow him to bed in.
Yeah, there is that side to it. I mean, he did come in and bring all of his own backroom, got rid of everybody that was there, which I find a little strange. I mean, even if you'd have kept him in place for a season, just to get you through and ease yourself into that job.
That's
but
exactly.
Maybe it was the new broom sweep clean and all that idea. He didn't want people and little ghosts sitting in the back room and decided to get it all done and dusted in one go.
Well, but what's so interesting now?
He'll be the sword there, won't he?
Yeah, I think he's built himself a difficult situation. Man United are at home to Southampton, 4 o'clock kickoff South African time, 3 o'clock in England on Saturday. And of course, the bizarre thing is that Southampton, promoted, unfashionable, down on the south coast. So Terry Payne will tell you all about this, but certainly I lived down there for a while. Southampton are 4th with 14 points. Man United 9th with 10 points. Even if Man United were to beat Southampton at Old Trafford over the weekend, which I think they probably will, they'd still be behind Southampton. And of course, then Newcastle-Liverpool is the early game on Saturday, 1:45 South African time. And all Arsenal fans will be hoping that Newcastle can, at St James's Park, give Liverpool, take points off Liverpool, and Arsenal will beat Norwich, leaving Arsenal at the top.
I think the Man United-Southampton game could actually be quite tricky. I think that'll be a good game.
Yeah,
it'll be an interesting game. I mean, you saw how Southampton went to Liverpool and got a good result.
Yeah.
So don't write that down as an easy home win, because it certainly won't. I mean, sure they're expected to win, but I don't think it'll be easy. Not at all.
I mean, for South Africans,
Norwich will be easy.
No, I'm worried about
Norwich play decent football.
I'm worried about Norwich too.
But that should suit us, to be fair.
To help South Africans, the Southampton have really got where they've got with the aid of a 30-something Ricky Lambert, who made his England debut and scored. They've also got a lad called Adam Lallana. They've got a couple of useful players. And it will be very interesting on 4:00 on Saturday. I imagine that'll be the game on DSTV 203 to see if Southampton can carry this remarkable, fourth in the Premier League after a change of managers last season. Only came up the year before. I think that David Moyes will find things very, very tough if they don't beat them at Old Trafford this weekend. I think that Moisey, the storm against Moisey may grow into a crescendo if they don't produce a good result on Saturday.
It's still too early in the season for people to be jumping up and down and shouting about it, though. I mean, there's the emotional side of football again, Neil. I mean, people, Man United are so used to it. And then you've got all the, let's say, the plastic supporters that will be jumping up and down because they're not winning. They can go and support Chelsea or somebody else, can't they?
Mate, it's not early in the season. In South Africa, where we've only played 5 games, there's been 4 managerial changes already. Polokwane City, Bloemfontein Celtic, Pietermaritzburg and Maritzburg United, and
let's be honest,
they've only played 5 games here. There's 7 games played in England, and Man United a 9th. So I'm starting the David Moyes out campaign. In fact, I did start it before the season started.
You started out after the first game.
It was they played a friendly in Vietnam and drew, I think, and I did Moyes out as a hashtag, and it trended worldwide. But it was only tongue in cheek. I think David Moyes is the right choice ultimately.
Bad man, Mr. Collins.
I'm terrible.
Bad man.
I know, mate, I'm a terrible bloke. But I think he'll settle Moisey. But I'm just surprised at some of the things he's done early on, not picking Shinji Kagawa, not consistently picking the youngsters, and then this slight storm about Wilfried Zaha and his daughter. That was unnecessary and unneeded as well, wasn't it?
Well, I don't know. You better ask Zaha about that. He probably thinks he's quite good.
Okay, I've got Rob Shepherd saying to me his phone is now off the hook. Ring now. But I think we're going to run out of time. I'd love to have you and Rob on at the same time because you talk the same game. And Rob, a big West Ham fan, by the way. West Ham have.
Well, that's right. He had a great result last weekend. So he's a good lad. I'm all for that.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I'm just trying to get Rob on the other line now. It is actually ringing because I've promised our listeners that the Daily Mail's grapevine columnist, will come on at some point, but it's ringing now, Robbie, and I've got him on Twitter, and in fact I'm twittering him now. Rob Shepherd, answer your bloody phone. That's what I'm going to write. Answer your bloody phone. There, he's got it on Twitter now in public. Answer your bloody phone, Rob. But
he'll be in the pub.
Not yet, he won't. But we're an hour ahead of us. Well, unfortunately, Rob Shepherd, your phone is ringing in London. I don't know if you're listening on the internet, but we haven't been able to raise Rob again. But Molly, just let's run through that West Ham game. I just wanted people to have a look at that and to know what time it's on. I'm just coming down to it. West Ham Man City is the late kickoff on Saturday. It'll be on DSTV 203 at 6:30 South African time. Manchester City currently 5th in the table. And West Ham, where are they at the moment? West Ham 13th with 8 points. Yeah. We haven't got him.
That'd be an interesting game. Again, after all the international breaks, a lot of the big sides that have had many, many players away, there's normally somewhat of a spanner in the works for 1 or 2 of them. So expect the unexpected over the weekend for 1 or 2.
That's right.
Hopefully it's not us.
Yeah, but you don't think Arsenal will play Ozil after his knee injury for Germany? You think they'll rest him for the European game against Dortmund next week, yeah?
It wouldn't surprise me if they rest him, yeah. I mean, we've got the Cazorla's close. Walcott's close, Sanya's close. Don't forget Jack didn't play, Jack played 20 minutes in 2 games, which is good for us. Mertesacker didn't play. I think we only had 3 players that played the whole 90 minutes to over those 2 international games. I think that was Koscielny, Vermaelen and Ramsey. Aaron probably needs a break as well. I mean, the guy's been slaughtered. I mean,
and he scored for Wales against Belgium, got the equaliser. It's amazing.
I mean, we really didn't need him on that long, did we? From an Arsenal perspective, it would have been give him half a game and get him off, please.
Can you imagine when he looks back on this season in his career, he's going to go, what happened there? What's he got 10 this season already? And I think he had 7 in his career in 91 games before this. Unbelievable. Listen, on Sunday as well, what's interesting for me, Aston Villa and Spurs. Obviously, Spurs will be contenders this season for 5th place. And they've got this lad Townsend who did so well in these last 2 games for England, who hasn't got an assist or a goal for Spurs, but is getting a lot of them for England. You've got to fancy Spurs, I suppose, to maintain their challenge for 5th place on that basis.
I reckon they'll get a draw.
I hope so too. Where are they at the moment? They're 6th at the moment, aren't they? Having been West Hammed recently, but equal on points with Man City. And then what's our Monday night game? We're just looking for that now. The Monday night game: Crystal Palace, Fulham. Good old downmarket London
relegation battle
London
already.
derby. And the 17th place, Fulham. Crystal Palace 3 points. Will Kagiso Dikachwa be back? We're not sure about that. And then Sunderland still solitary 1 point this season. And we'll see if they can come off the bottom of the league. Who've they got? They got Swansea. Another relegation battle, really, isn't it? Swansea aren't doing that well this season.
You'd fancy Swansea to win that, wouldn't you?
You really would. All right, Molly. Well, listen, thanks for chatting to us, mate. Pity we couldn't pick up Rob Shepherd to talk with you and be a hammer against a gunner. That would have been nice. But, Molly, look after yourself. And here's to Arsenal being top by the time we speak again next Thursday.
Nice one. Take it easy. Have a good weekend.
Great stuff. Cheers, Molly. Thanks a million, mate. Cheers.
All right.
Bye. Well, that's it, I think, Comfort. That's about it for Bollocks.
This is Balls Visual Radio.